Hi everyone, welcome to SewManyCards video on flowers. Today we're going to go over some different types of flowers that you can make on your own or make with Prima flower. So first up is this flower, and I love it because it looks like a carnation flower to me. So it's very easy to make. All you do is punch out different sizes of flowers from a punch, or I use my Cricut, and I use the Plantain school book cartridge and cut my flowers at 2 inches all the way down to 3/4, separating them by 1/4 inch every one, and then you stack them alternating, making them kind of opposite so they're a little fluffy. And the next step is you take it and you spray it with, you can use water, or I use glimmer mist, and I make my own. So this is Pearl X, a little rubbing alcohol and some water mixed. And if you use this, don't shake it because it will get bubbles and splatters on it. So you just spray it and it'll make a kind of glimmer and pretty. Oh, look, light. And it will make it soft so you can manipulate it and move it around. So this one, you just take them and you basically crunch them up in the middle, and you take each layer, making sure that it's really wet, and crinkle them all up. So once it's done, you take it and you kind of spread it apart, and you can leave it plain on the bottom or crinkle them all the way. And after it's dry, it feels just like the Prima flowers that you get. And if you were to buy the Prima flowers, just buy the white, and you can color them with markers, with Bic markers, Sharpies. I use my Copic markers to get an effect like this or this. And basically I just take the lightest color, color the entire thing, take my darkest color around the outside and make some marks in the middle, and then a medium color kind of around the edge of the dark color. And this one's a little more subtle, but it's the same technique, and then they look really pretty and real and very easy to work with. You can get the same effect. This is a Prima flower, and this is one that's just a Cricut cut, and I sprayed it again with some glimmer mist, and then used my thing here, stylus, and just kind of marked in it to get the creases. Feels just like the Prima flowers. And of course, if you have different flowers that you want to cut from your Cricut or other cutting machine, or even different punches, you'll get a different shape, but it'll be essentially the same exact thing as the Prima flowers, but a whole lot less expensive. So I don't buy flowers anymore. I found I couldn't buy them. The stores around here didn't have them. So I started making my own, and that's how I came up with that. You can also make flowers like this. So it's basically the same thing, just stacked and alternating with a big brad in the middle. So kind of like this, but not as scrunched up. And for these, I just use the stylus again. On all of these, you want to make sure that when you're manipulating them, that it's wet. So using water or glimmer mist or something works really, really well. I like this because it sparkles and shines afterwards. So this is another flower that I made, and I can hold it. All I did was take a punch and used a Coke bottle, can cardboard thing, punched it out, glued buttons around the edge, and you can add more, and then put a brad in the center. So looks really cute when you do that there. Another option you have is to dye them. So again, using the white flowers, I used the Ranger ink and put a few drops in there And to lighten it, you use the alcohol blending solution and mix it together. And I use a popsicle stick. So, and this is just a lid for a jar. I like the glass because it doesn't stain. You do have to make sure that when you change colors that you get all the old color out, because it will soak up on the next flower that you use. And keep in mind that it soaks up a lot. So if you want to make several flowers, just count how many drops you put in there so you know what shade to do for the next one, because your first flower may soak it all up just in one group. So those are those flowers. The last thing I want to share with you, or not the last thing, but another thing, is these crocheted flowers. And these were made by a great customer and a good friend, Sharon. She's often on the SewManyCards challenge site, so many challenges, and has entered since day one. And I appreciate her and her kindness. And she sent me these, and I wanted to show them because obviously you can make them. She makes them sitting at work or waiting for work, and I'm not as talented. I've been asking my mom to make me some, and she hasn't. And she sews and knits and, you know, all of that. So she's like, yeah, I'll make them. And, you know, I got these in the mail from Sharon and was super excited. So thank you for those. And hopefully there's other talented people out there that can make those as well, because they really do make a really nice addition to a card. I made one the other day for somebody and they absolutely loved it. Of course, I forgot to take a picture of it, but these were on the card along with the green flower there. And the last thing I wanted to share was this book. This is the Paper Bouquet, and it has all these flowers in here that you can do yourself. So basically the same kind of concept. And you do have to have the punches, but they're very detailed and they tell you which punches to use and how many to use. And then you just piece them together. I have done a few of these by drawing them, and then being able to transfer them to Sure Cuts a Lot or another program. So they're easy to make, and if people want to know how to make these or want these in the store, I'll add them to the store, the files for these. But they're pretty easy, and I'll get a video on this. And you don't necessarily have to have a cutting machine for this, although some of these are pretty detailed. You can cut them out with your scissors, which I have done a couple of them, or had a punch that's like a snowflake and not that particular one, or whatever like that. So they are pretty easy to kind of manipulate, but they are very realistic. This begonia, for example, only has 3 different shapes, and you have to have 20 of them for one flower, but it's pretty simple to make, and you just piece them together, and it shows you step by step how to do that. So we will be doing this in a future video. The next video will be on putting words in a circle upon Jerry's request. So we will be doing that one next. I'll show how to do your text and things that you can add to cards or other projects that you have. So hopefully you will join me for that challenge, and we'll see you then. Have a great day.